We all know that spring is coming, but for those of us gardening in a cool climate, well, we can't even taste it yet. I mean, I've sowed the seeds of my summer crops, but most of my winter things are finished. And in a gardener's terms, these are lean times. Sometimes early spring is known as the hungry gap. If you planted garlic in autumn, it's not going to be ready to harvest the bulbs until midsummer, but there is a way to get garlic flavour quickly. If you've got them shooting in the kitchen, the little bulbs like this, you can actually plant them, and then you can harvest these gorgeous little garlic shoots right the way through spring. Just break the bulbs apart and plant them pointy side up. You don't have to be fussy about spacing because it's not the bulbs we want. This crop is just for the leaves. And as they shoot away, you can continuously harvest those tips right through the growing season, and they're yum. And of course, being onions, they like a sweet soil, so I'm just dusting on a little bit of lime. Microgreens are a really great way to get a fast harvest. And you can use up all your old, out-of-date seeds. I've got a mixture here of leafy greens. I've got some mizuna, some silver beet, a bunch of lettuce, a couple of different types of kale, and some mustard out of the kitchen cupboard. I think it'll come up thick and fast. Prepare a seed bed. About 1 metre square is good, but really you can use this method to fill any little gaps. Just rough up the soil, add a bit of compost or manure, and rake flat. Sprinkle the fine seed on the surface of the soil and sieve a little compost over the top. Water in and keep consistently moist while they are little. The great thing about using old seed this way is you really never know what's going to grow the most strongly. But whatever comes up, I'm going to harvest it quickly, within about 4 to 6 weeks, which means it'll be out of the ground, into the kitchen, before it's time to put in my spring cucumber crop. Rhubarb has got to be one of the very best home garden crops. It's tough as old boots, it'll grow almost anywhere, and of course you can harvest those really delicious stems. I grow a couple of varieties, one given to me by a mate. It's almost evergreen. It keeps those gorgeous thin red stems throughout most of the year for continuous harvests. And this is the other one. It's a more traditional deciduous type. It's completely dormant now it's in winter. And of course, all rhubarb is delicious, but you can get these deciduous forms to produce super tasty stems early in spring by forcing them. And that's why I'm sitting on a terracotta pot. Rhubarb are hungry plants, so top dress with compost and aged manure. Then I'm going to cover the crown with this terracotta pot. By shading this plant completely, it means the stems are actually going to reach for the light. They become pale and tender and quite long. In the kitchen they call it blanching, but in the garden we call it etiolation, when the cells actually stretch. I'm going to harvest those stems when they're about 30 centimetres long, and then mid-spring I'll pull that pot off, let it start to photosynthesise again like a normal plant, and it'll grow on for summer. When I lived in a relatively frost-free climate in the city, I used to sow my broad beans in autumn. These are actually from my last rental garden, and they would grow all through the winter months. I could pick flowers and leaves to eat before they set their pods in late spring. So this year I want to try them as a spring-sown crop. Essentially they're going into warmer soil, so they should take off and catch up to anything that would have sat there since autumn anyway. Of course, I can't sow these yet because they're always best soaked in some water, a couple of hours at least, and overnight if you can. Broad beans are tall and lanky, and spring, well, it's windy, so I'm rigging up a small bamboo frame to offer them some support. There really isn't much to planting them. You just poke a hole in, a couple of knuckles deep, and shove them in. By planting all the time, I can also harvest all the time, which means I always have some fast food on the go. Keeping homegrown food on the table every single day can be challenging, but with a little planning and plenty of planting, it can be done. Cheers. Yum.